Hello, this is Storybooks channel. New videos are posted every day. Subscribe and click the bell.
God, where is she? Why isn't she answering? Samuel couldn't find a place to go, waiting for his wife to call. What's going on over there? They know I'm worried. Suddenly the phone came to life, and the man grabbed the receiver. Samuel! He heard his wife's voice. Don't worry, please. Susan? The angry husband ranted. Where the hell have you been? Why aren't you answering your phone? I don't know where to go or what to do. Samuel, congratulations. We have a baby girl. What? I don't understand. The husband is dumbfounded. What girl? A daughter. Susan laughed happily. We had a daughter. Wait, but it's a month away, isn't it? It just happened. I guess I got banged up on the road and went into premature labor. That's why I couldn't call you. Don't worry, she's fine. She was born healthy and beautiful. What do you mean? Don't worry? My husband was furious. I persuaded you not to go to your mother. No, you carried 300 kilometers away, and without me. I knew that this whole thing would not end well. But I had to visit my mom. My wife justified herself. It's not such a long distance. It all worked out. The doctors and nurses here are marvelous. They treat me like a piece of paper. What are you talking about? There's a private clinic waiting for you here. We picked it out together. I paid for it a long time ago. It's no big deal. You'll get your money back. Believe me, it's no worse than the one in town. So tell me where this hospital is right now. I'm on my way right now. I won't leave you for a minute. You must see good doctors. Susan dictated the address to Samuel. Holy Mother! He cursed when he saw that the hospital was located in some godforsaken district center. Where the hell did you go? Okay, wait. I'm on my way. Susan stood at the window, watching the snow fall outside. Her newborn daughter was sleeping peacefully beside her. Susan, how are you feeling? A nurse came into the room. I'm fine. The woman smiled gratefully. My daughter is sleeping. My husband should come to pick us up soon. He was upset that I gave birth early. Lucky you and your husband. The nurse sighed. He's caring. Yes, we have been waiting 10 years for this child. We have been everywhere, checked everything. The tests were great, but we couldn't get pregnant. Do you know how painful it was to look at the moms who refused to give up their babies? We are young and healthy, cannot give birth to a baby, and these woeful moms, God gave such happiness, and they refuse it. And now the woman came to the crib and looked affectionately at the girl. We are happy to, the three of us. It's a shame about the refuseniks, the nurse said. I have so much milk. Susan laughed suddenly. There's enough for two. To tell you the truth, I've always dreamed of having twins so we could have 2 kids at once. The joy of all the years of waiting. Susan? The woman asked, hesitating. There's a little boy in the room, a sweet boy. His mother died in childbirth, and we haven't even seen his father. If you have a lot of milk, maybe you would agree to feed him. I have to pump anyway. Oh, and of course, bring him quickly. The young mother agreed. But he must have grandparents, right? They should, but Lisa, the boy's mother's name, said no one wanted her and her son. That's terrible. Poor thing. Tears came to Susan's eyes. Don't worry, you'll lose your milk. The nurse was scared. I feel fine. Bring the boy in. 5 minutes later, the woman returned with the baby in her arms, sucking greedily on the breast, looking at Susan with blue eyes. Little one. The woman said quietly and stroked the baby's head, kissed the pink cheek. Only 2 days of his life, and already he has experienced grief and betrayal, and now he is going to the orphanage. While we will stay with us, and then to the baby house, maybe someone will be lucky enough to adopt him. The boy is healthy, and his mom is not some alcoholic. Her kidneys failed, and here we do not have such equipment as in the city, so they did not save. She sighed sorrowfully. There was a noise in the corridor. What's going on in there? The nurse left Susan and walked out of the room. A man? She heard a woman. Where are you going? You can't go in the room. There are children in there. Let me through. The door opened and Samuel appeared on the threshold. My wife is here. Susan put her finger to her lips, still cradling the boy, who, because of the sudden sounds, let out his chest and was about to cry, wrinkling his nose funny. She pointed to the crib where their daughter was sleeping peacefully and continued feeding the baby. Susan? A nurse came into the room. Give me the boy. Daddy, you won't be here long, no visitors allowed. They're discounting the fact that you've traveled a long way. I got it. Thank you. The nurse took the baby away. Susan. Samuel handed his wife a bouquet of flowers, kissed her, and then asked her sternly, "What was that just now?" Samuel, Susan whispered hotly. Let's take this boy, shall we? Are you crazy? The man marveled. Are you out of your mind? How could we take someone else's baby? My love, his mother died, and his relatives have written a refusal. Nobody wants him, you understand. We'll have a girl and a boy, that's great. Do you realize you're taking someone else's baby into the house? Samuel was really pissed off. What if it's sick or we can't handle it? Are you going to take it back? It's not like picking up a kitten on the street. It's a person. I get it. Susan looked at her husband pleadingly. We can handle it. His mom was a decent woman, not a drunk, not a drug addict. Okay. Samuel paced the room from corner to corner. I don't want to hear anything about him right now, you understand? I'm tired from the road. You're emotionally asking me to take in an orphan. Let's do it like this. The doctor said you're gonna have to stay here for a couple more days. We'll think it over with a cool head, and then we'll decide. Okay. Okay, Susan replied, looking at her husband with a rapturous gaze. I love you, and I love you. The man leaned over and kissed his wife, then walked over to the crib where their daughter was sleeping peacefully. Thank you for the baby. He leaned over the girl, scrutinizing her face. How long we've waited for this day. Yes, I'm very happy. We are both happy, and now I have to go. Samuel said regretfully, Your nurse is very strict. I'm afraid she'll kick me out. I'd better go myself. He smiled, went to his wife again, hugged her and kissed her. Don't miss me. I'll come back tomorrow. Her husband left, and Susan did not sleep. She thought whether it was right to adopt a boy. Doubts did not give her peace. Finally, she got up and left the room. Helen? She turned to the nurse on duty. Don't forget to bring the rejected boy to me for feeding. There's nothing for you to do. The girl wrinkled her nose. Feed yours. You'll be leaving soon anyway, and he needs to get used to the bottle. But you still bring it. The woman asked insistently. The nurse shrugged and went back to her work. Susan stood for a moment longer, then returned to the room. She had fed the babies twice during the night, and each time her heart sank when the boy was taken from her arms. We're discharging you tomorrow. The attending physician said, The tests are good. There's no point in keeping you here any longer. Good. Samuel was happy when his wife told him. Let's go home at last, Samuel. Susan looked at her husband questioningly. You promised to think about the boy. Do you still insist? I don't insist. It has to be our mutual decision. I'll give it up if you say no, but before you say anything, think carefully. Maybe fate has put it in our hands. We're hardly going to get a second one, age and all, and here's a chance. Don't you have a heart? He'll be alone. He'll be placed in an orphanage. Then maybe he'll be adopted. We don't know where he'll end up, but he'll be fine with us. We love him like family. Okay. Ruffling the hair on the back of his neck, Samuel said, "Suppose we take him, but how will you explain his appearance to our relatives?" "I've got it all figured out." Encouraged by Samuel's words, Susan hurried on. "We'll say I'm having twins, but how do you envision it?" The man clutched his head. "We told everyone we were expecting a girl." "So what?" "We can say that we just hid the presence of a second fetus. We wanted to make a surprise. But think about it. Who will find out the details?" "What about the parents?" Samuel doubted. "I think we should tell the parents the truth." "Well, Samuel, my beloved husband, what decision will we make?" "As you say, so it will be. I agree with your opinion." Ouch! He waved his hand. "Be what it will be. The boy needs a home, and we could use a second child." "Samuel!" Susan shrieked with joy so as not to wake her daughter and threw herself on her husband's neck. "I knew it. I knew you'd say yes. Do you know what paperwork the adoptive parents need to gather?" "I don't know, but I think our doctor can help with that." They left the room and went in search of a doctor. "Margaret?" The young men knocked at 6, entered the residence room. "We need to talk to you." "Go ahead." Samuel could see the question in her gaze and the shy hope in her eyes. "We're here about the abandoned boy." "What do you want to know?" "We're ready to adopt him." "Guys," Margaret splashed her hands, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm so happy for you and for him. You're great. I'm sure this child will bring you happiness." "We came to find out what documents we need to prepare, and also to ask when we can take him home." "I'll tell you everything." The doctor hurried away. "Here you go." She took out a long list of documents from some folder. "We can't get it all together in a year." Samuel exclaimed, "I understand." The woman was embarrassed. "But that's the way it is. We can't just give the baby away. We have to make sure you're healthy, that he won't need anything." We were just about to go home. Susan was confused. "What about the baby? You're not giving him to us now." "I'm sorry." The doctor waved her hand sadly. "We have to do all the paperwork first." "What do we do?" Susan looked at her husband in bewilderment. "You'll have to stay with your mom for a while," Samuel said. "We will calmly draw up the documents, here on the spot. Probably you can do it faster, and your return will look more natural." "Don't worry, my love," he whispered in her ear. "We'll make it work." "What about your job?" "I think I can stay for a week. At least we'll have time to go through the doctors, and we'll figure out the rest." They said goodbye to the doctor and talked about where to start. Then Susan called her mother and told her she was coming. "Daughter." Vanessa ran out onto the porch to greet her dear guests. "Oh, I'm so glad. I never thought I'd see my granddaughter again. I thought you'd leave right away." "Mom." Kissing her, the young woman said, "We have something to talk to you about." "Come in. Why are you stuck outside?" "Father is all exhausted. Waiting for you. He can't wait to wash his feet with his son-in-law." When the joyful fuss had died down, the parents and guests gathered in the living room. "Mom, Dad," Susan announced, "we've decided to adopt. It's an informed decision." The daughter gestured to stop her father, who was about to be outraged. "We've thought it over, but we don't want anyone but you and us to know that Hunter is a stranger to us by blood. Will you promise not to tell anyone?" "But my daughter." Vanessa tried to reason with the young parents. Are you sure you're doing the right thing? And how long will you hide from the baby that he is not your own? He must never know about it. Susan said firmly. The next day, the young people took the tests and went to the child welfare office. The head of the department read Samuel on a sign nailed to the door. Helen, hello. They hesitantly walked into the office, where an elderly woman sat behind a desk. She gave them a stern look at the threshold. Have you seen the appointment times for personal matters? We did. Samuel smiled disarmingly. But maybe you could make an exception for us. We want to adopt a boy. So. The woman asked in a displeased tone, looking at them over her glasses. Please leave my office and come back as scheduled. What kind of person are you? The man stormed out. We're talking about a child. We can't wait. Every day he spends in the hospital is like a day in jail for an adult. Don't make your own rules. I'm not going to change my work schedule because of you. This conversation is over. She's up. Please, Helen. Susan looked at her pleadingly. Help, and we will not be in your debt. The woman suddenly softened. All right, what child? Rejoicing at the sudden change in the department head's mood, Susan described the situation. Well, my darlings, the woman sat back in her seat. First, gather all the certificates. She put a list in front of them. No one will give you the baby without them. Isn't there any way to speed up the process? No way. The employee waved her hands. Maybe you are some kind of criminals, and you will do a hell of a lot with the child. Or had a criminal record. We must also look at the conditions in which you live, whether your income allows you to support the baby. Think about it. Samuel was getting more and more annoyed. Would we take a child if we didn't know what we could do? I don't know, it's not written on you. Helen was adamant. If you get the certificates, come back and we'll set a court date. What trial? Well, it's all through the court. The child didn't fall out of the sky into your hands. What if the relatives want to bring him up themselves? They've already written a waiver. That's the way it's supposed to be, and stop arguing, or I'll think you're mentally unstable. Samuel, Susan whispered pleadingly in her husband's ear. Don't argue with her, or they won't give Hunter back. Well, roughly asked the woman, settling back into the chair. Why are you standing up? Go get the certificates. If you haven't changed your mind, I'm not going to collect them for you. Right away, they claimed to be in a hurry, but they froze like a statue. The young people left the office, shocked by the cold reception. Old bitch. Samuel scolded. There's nothing human left. If you want to do a good deed, you'll come across such bookish people, and you'll send the whole system to hell. Darling, why are you so angry? His wife tried to calm him down. You can understand them too. They stand guard of the law. We are strangers. No one knows us here. No one to vouch for us. How many like us have passed through her hands? You'd think they'd look at the certificates and know us better. Calm down, please. We'll get this paperwork together, and we'll all go home together. We have a lot of paperwork to put up with. 3 whole months went by without a hitch. Samuel and Susan were worried because the court hearing was tomorrow. The adoption case was being heard. The clerk announced. The judge read the application, familiarized herself with the certificates that the young family provided. Why do you need this child? She asked. You have a daughter. Why do you need a stranger? Listen, Samuel spoke. We couldn't have children for a long time, and we are unlikely to have a second one. We are not 18 years old. This boy is a gift from heaven. Can't you understand? Don't get excited. The judge stopped him. Answer in substance. There is a certain order, and I ask you to follow it. We want to help the child. Susan answered firmly. To find a family. We have the means. You've seen our documents. We have the will and we have everything." Susan's eyes filled with tears. "I fell in love with him immediately because I had to feed him with my milk. I'm his milk mom, if you know what I mean." "I do." The judge looked at the young couple intently. "And if things don't work out, you can't take him back to the orphanage. It would be a tragedy for the baby." "No, it wouldn't. No one's going to give him up," Susan assured me fervently. "We already love him like his own and can't wait to take him home." The judge looked at Samuel, then looked at Susan and said, "I believe you for some reason. I hope I haven't misjudged you." The court recessed for deliberation, the clerk announced. A representative of the guardianship authorities followed the judge into the deliberation room. "All rise, the court is in session." The clerk again announced, "The application for adoption is granted," solemnly pronounced the judge. "Thank you," Susan whispered, fell back in her chair and sobbed. "Why are you crying?" Smiling, Margaret asked her. "Everything is fine now. The boy will go with you." "Congratulations." She took Susan's crying hand and shook it reassuringly. "When can we pick up our son?" The new father asked. "We can't wait to introduce him to his new home. If within 10 days none of the relatives will make a claim, then the child can be taken away." The judge looked at him carefully and said respectfully, "And in general, you are, of course, good to take someone else's child for upbringing not everyone will dare. Usually they are abandoned and rarely taken into the family." "They are not good." Helen joined the conversation. "They have no idea what awaits them. We don't know what kind of heredity this boy has," she said glumly, as if they would not have to bite their elbows later and run to us and ask us to reverse the case. "We've known such people, and then the children suffer all their lives, then in orphanages." "Why did you do that?" Margaret told her off. "Everything will be fine. You can see that people are responsible. They took this step consciously, and you can take the boy right now, without waiting for the 10 days to expire." The relatives, if they wanted to, have long ago announced themselves and claimed the rights to the child. So go home quietly, settle in, happiness for you and the children. She said a warm farewell to the parents of the babies. The next day, Susan and Samuel came to the maternity hospital and picked up the boy. "Meet." Smiling happily, the woman announced as they entered her parents' home, "This is Hunter, your grandson." Her husband placed the bundle on the table, undressed the boy. He looked at the adults around him with both curiosity and fear. Then, unexpectedly, he roared in a bass voice, tapping his little hands and feet. The adults laughed. "Susan?" Vanessa asked her daughter when the passions had subsided and the children, washed and fed, slept in the crib. "What are we going to tell the relatives?" After all, everyone was expecting a girl, and then a boy came out of nowhere. "How can you explain this phenomenon?" "It's a bit of a mystery, so I'll have to tell them. I'm afraid some people won't approve of your decision to adopt a boy." "Mom, we've already thought of everything. No one from the relatives, except you, my parents and Samuel, must not know that Hunter is not our own. We have to try to forget that we adopted him like it never happened. After all, he's our son now. His real parents' names are only on the adoption certificate. How do you forget that? You can't lie your whole life. As the years go by, you'll realize they're not related. They don't look alike." "We won't tell, but are you sure Samuel's parents won't tell anyone the secret of the boy's birth?" "I'm afraid that one day there will be trouble." "When will that be?" Susan dismissed it. "For now, we're sticking to the legend that I gave birth to twins." "Why couldn't it have been?" "I wonder, twins." The mother snorted incredulously. How did we get twins? And why didn't you say anything the whole pregnancy? I didn't say anything so that no one would envy our happiness or jinx it. If someone asks in whose family was twins, say on the husband, no one will not check. How can you hide something like that? Oh, daughter, this is not a good idea. And if someone finds out, can you imagine what a blow to the boy would be? If someone told him one day that he wasn't your kin, you can't hide anything from the neighbors. You won't even be able to visit without a care. That's why Susan reassured her. The only people who know about the adoption are you and us. The fewer people who know what we're doing, the better chance we have of keeping it a secret. No one in the village has ever seen me pregnant, so there will be no questions about where another baby came from, and we can visit you in peace. And if someone from the maternity hospital blabbed about it, you can't put a handkerchief on every mouth. Mommy, Susan hugged her mother. Even if some information leaks out, they'll forget it over time. And as for guests, you can come and stay as long as you like. You know you're always welcome. As the years went by, the children grew up, and their differences became more and more apparent. Listen, Susan. One day her cousin asked her, watching her nephews play on the playground, "Why is Hunter's hair so black and his eyes brown?" "I'm surprised. You and Samuel are both blonde, and Nancy is blonde, so who does he look like?" Samuel's parents have dark hair. Susan felt a chill inside. She didn't pay attention to little things like that. You saw them. Oh, who knows about genes? How am I supposed to know whose breed Hunter is? Personally, I don't care. Look how smart that boy is. But he and his sister look nothing alike. So what? Nancy's our breed and Hunter's his father's. It's still strange. The woman eyed the boy suspiciously. Are you sure you didn't have your baby switched at the hospital? I saw a program on TV the other day where several families suffered because of negligent nurses. Imagine, only to find out that the children were accidentally switched. Don't be ridiculous. Susan told her off. What are you doing with my kids? Have your own and put them under a microscope. It's like, it's not like. Even if it is, nature is so inexplicable. Doesn't it happen that babies don't look much like their parents? If I were you, I'd get a DNA test, see if they're really switched. Brother and sister can't be so different, but if you gave birth to them from Samuel, they are. She laughed. Are you out of your mind? How could that thought even enter your head? What should I think? The relative excused herself. I could be offended by such words. Come on. The woman poked Susan in the side conciliatingly. I was joking. Next time, doubts visited the kindergarten teacher. Susan? She asked with a laugh. I look at your babies and I can't understand how the same parents have such different children. Nancy is such a creative girl, singing, dancing, and how she tells poems. Hunter is completely different, silent, no creative skills, but he's already solving math problems. Susan remarked sharply, I don't get it. What are you implying? No, I'm not implying anything. The young teacher was frightened. I just can't understand why they don't even look alike. Because they're twins and twins can be different. In fact, leave my kids alone. Curiosity won't get you anywhere. Ask less questions. Do more with your kids. Susan said coldly, I'm sorry. The teacher was embarrassed. I didn't mean anything bad, but it's strange that they don't look alike at all, as if they came from different parents. Such conversations made Susan panic, and she tried to control herself and not get into an argument, proving that the man was wrong to question her children's parentage. Hunter and Nancy had been very friendly since childhood. If one of them was hurt, the other always came to the rescue. They were feared at school because the two of them could put any bully in his place, and yet sometimes there were situations that made their parents worry. "Mom?" Hunter asked one day, "What's your blood type?" "B positive." "And Dad?" "B positive." "Why do you ask?" "What's mine?" "You?" Susan hesitated and looked helplessly at her husband. "Yes." Waiting, looking at the parents, the son asked. "Today we talked about blood types in biology, and I don't know which one I have. You see." The woman was confused and then gathered herself and spoke cheerfully. "In the maternity hospital, and children do not determine the blood type if the R factor is positive. That's why we don't know exactly what yours is." "And what can be?" insisted son. "Any type." If you have studied this topic in biology, you should know that in our case, children can have any blood type. "How can I find out mine?" "You can get your blood analyzed and ask to have your blood type determined." Satisfied with his mother's answers, Hunter went about his business, while Susan poured herself a glass of water and drank it in one gulp. "The older she gets, the more she asks questions that stump me." "Thank goodness you found something to answer," my husband remarked. "I'm afraid to guess what he'll ask next time." Time was running fast. The high school graduation came unexpectedly. Had we waited and our children would receive their diplomas today? Susan rejoiced, waiting for the celebration. "I can't believe how fast the school years have gone by." "I'm glad," Dad said, "that they already know where they're going to go. They're wonderful children." "Nancy will have a hard time." Mother smiled. The exact sciences were still unknown to her. Maybe she shouldn't have gone to an institute. A technical school was enough for a girl. "Nothing. A good education has never hurt anyone. I'm glad that children help each other." Father remarked. "Hunter won't leave her. You'll see she'll study for 2." The children went to university. Studying was not easy for the daughter at first, but Hunter studied with her sister in the evenings, and soon she began to make progress. "Sister, do you know where we have all the documents?" Hunter asked her once. "I need my passport urgently, and I have no idea where to find it." "Look in the cupboard. I think I've seen it there recently." Nancy responded. "Why do you need one?" "I want to enroll in a driving course. They don't accept applications without a passport," answered his brother, digging through the papers. So, Hunter listed aloud the documents he found. Marriage certificate, Mom's birth certificate, Dad's birth certificate. "Nancy, your certificate is also here in mine, and here's the passport." He shook it triumphantly in the air. "And what's this?" Hunter frowned as he read it. An adoption certificate, and there was a tag from the maternity hospital with the date of his birth and his mother's name on it. "Why are you so quiet?" Nancy asked cheerfully, entering the room. "What's wrong with your face?" the girl asked, coming up close to her brother. "Have you found the secret materials?" She snatched the document out of his hands. "What are you reading?" "Letters from the past." Well, adoption certificate. I wonder whose?" "Hunter." The girl turned pale after reading the contents of the document. Her brother stood with his teeth clenched tightly. His cheekbones were jaundiced. He forcefully clenched his fingers into a fist so that the knuckles turned white. This is yours." "What do you mean? You're not my own." "Adopted?" She looked at her brother confused. "It turns out that way." Muffled, the young man answered. "And all this time you have lived with us as my own brother." "Who are you then? Where are you from? And who are your parents?" "I don't know." Hunter looked at his sister confusedly. It was the first time he had seen this paper himself. "That's the news. It's quite a sensation. Where did you come from?" And why didn't our parents ever tell us about it? Why did they hide it? I know as much as you do. Hunter was shocked by the sudden revelation of the truth about his birth. I started to notice something was wrong with us a long time ago. Usually real brother and sister feel for each other, but I've never felt anything like that for you. I was always surprised, but now it's all falling into place. That's why you're nothing to me. Hunter stood looking at her as if seeing her for the first time. Well, why aren't you saying anything? Nancy was starting to get angry. You always kept silent when there was trouble, and now you are silent. And I couldn't understand why your father and mother lick you so much. Hunter this, Hunter that, everything for Hunter. They felt obligated, and Hunter took advantage of that. Nancy. Hunter said warningly, "Let's be quiet now, so that we don't say too much and regret it later. I don't like this whole situation either. This is my first time seeing this document just like you. I don't know when or why it all happened. At least, I don't remember. You might want to keep quiet for a while so I can think. I have yet to live with this. I'm in a worse position than you are, and you don't shut me up." The girl had already got into the role of a whistleblower and couldn't stop. Now a lot of things are explained. Like what? Why they bought you a brand new suit for the prom and I had to wear my cousin's dress. You don't think I wanted a new dress? I was going to the International Math Olympiad. That's why they bought me one, not for graduation. Don't you remember? So you're so smart. You get the best, and I'm stupid. It'll do. Why are you talking nonsense? No one thinks you're stupid. Our parents always buy us both something. They don't neglect anyone. Why are you trying to insult them now? Remember, she went after my brother. We got bikes in 8th grade. They got you a new high-speed bike, and they got me a hand-me-down simple one. So we got a Hunter again, and that's fine for Nancy. You say it never happened. I was already a good rider, and you were just learning. Why would you need a fast one? Your parents wanted you to start riding properly, and you have an explanation for everything. Nancy said with a sneer, "And if you hadn't been there, it would have been all for me. My parents wouldn't have to split it between the two of us. Do you remember when we didn't go to the camp at the sea? Why didn't we? It was expensive to send 2 people. You'd be a drag everywhere." Tears spurted from Nancy's eyes. Childhood resentments that had been piling up for years came flooding out like a cornucopia. She pounded Hunter's chest painfully with her fist, then pounded on him. He struggled to turn away from the blows. "It's all because of you, and you're a nobody, adopted and from who knows where. If it wasn't for you, Mommy and Daddy would only love me. You stole their love from me." "Nancy, you don't know what you're saying." The young man, looking at his crying sister, was ready to cry too, but held himself back. He was unbearably hurt by his sister's words and even more hurt by the truth he had learned. "I know," the girl screamed. "I know. I've had to share my parents' attention with you all my life. They treated me like a silly little girl, but you're a math star. You're smart, strong, and I'm just an app. Even at school, you're a role model, and no one ever paid attention to me. You have your own talents." Hunter tried to calm her down. "Why are you trying to insult me now? It's hard enough as it is. Believe me, I don't like this whole situation, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Your parents always put you first, but in reality, you're nothing and your name is nothing. You're a stranger to us. Get out of our house. There's nothing here for you. Dad and Mom are mine, understand? And you go back to yours. Where are they? They abandoned you. They abandoned you, and they took pity on you. A poor orphan, a foundling. I hate you, I hate you. She rushed to her room, fell on her bed, and wept. At these words, which sounded like a slap in the face, Hunter turned pale. "All right then," he said. "If that's the way you want it, I'll leave. I'll find my real parents and forget about you. I don't want anything from you, so live as you wish. Go away." Tears were streaming down his face as his sister ran after him. "No one will be sorry for you. Do you expect me to run and beg you to stay?" "I won't." He threw some things into his backpack, took his laptop, and carefully folded the adoption certificate and tag. At the door, he looked back, said a silent goodbye, and walked out of the house that had become a stranger to him in an instant. Nancy shuddered when the front door slammed, jumped out of bed. Somewhere inside remorse awoke, but the girl quickly wiped the tears and tried to calm down. "Gone," she said. "So be it." She was pleased with herself. The childish resentments that had accumulated in her heart had finally come out. I should have told him a long time ago, and that's what he should do. I never want to see him again in my life. And my parents? How could they do that? They didn't consult me, didn't ask me if I even wanted a brother. She closed her eyes, still sobbing, and fell asleep, tired, devastated. She awoke to the sound of her parents' voices in the kitchen. They were discussing something animatedly, chuckling. Nancy got up, went into the bathroom, washed her tear-swollen eyes, then wandered into the kitchen. Her mother was busy at the stove. "Daughter," Susan asked cheerfully, noticing her. "Call your brother. We'll have dinner. I'm hungry." "I can't eat. I think I could swallow a mammoth right now." "What's the matter with you?" "Your eyes are red. Have you been crying?" She looked at her daughter worriedly. "I'll get her," Samuel answered. He went into his son's room and shouted from there. "He's not there. It's strange." "Nancy?" he asked his daughter, coming back. "Do you know where your brother is? Did you two have a fight?" The mother looked at the girl sternly. "He is not my brother," Nancy replied glumly, sitting down at the table. "What?" the parents exclaimed with glee. "Are you overheated in the sun? What do you hear?" The girl replied swaggeringly, starting to eat. "Don't pretend to be surprised. I know everything. He's nobody to me. Stand up when you talk to your parents." The mother turned pale and forced her daughter to rise from the table. "What are you talking about? What happened between you two? Tell me now, why do you care about him so much? He's not your own son." Hunter found the adoption certificate. We talked to him for a while. She briefly recounted her conversation with Hunter. "He left. I think he did the right thing. It's not his home, and you cheated me. I thought of him as my brother for 20 years, and he's a stranger who's been put into my family by someone else's grace, and you forgot to ask me if I wanted a brother. Are you out of your mind?" Mother was furious. "How could we ask you? You were just born then, both of you. Why didn't you tell us later? Why didn't we talk?" Nancy insisted. "Listen, daughter. Susan could hardly control herself. Maybe it's our fault for not talking to you sooner, and we certainly didn't expect it to come out so suddenly. But it's our decision, and it has nothing to do with you, much less Hunter. It's not his fault he was orphaned from birth. I didn't expect you, daughter, to throw a man out of his home. Tell me now, where could Hunter have gone? Father was out of his mind. If anything happens to him, I will never forgive you. How should I know?" Nancy shrugged her shoulders irritably. "He probably went to look for his real mother, and rightly so. There's nothing for foster children to do in our house. Let him go to hell. I won't cry." Susan, not expecting you herself, swung around and slapped her daughter. "Mom," the girl grabbed her cheek. Tears came to her eyes from the pain. You hit me? Your own daughter hit me because of some prodigal. How can you do this to me? Do you love him more than me? Don't you dare call him that. Susan shouted in anger. You don't know anything. She fell back in her chair. You don't know anything. The woman cried. He has no one. His mother died in childbirth. There was no father, and his relatives refused. I fed him milk with you. I'm his milk mother, and he's not a stranger to us. I don't understand how you can be so callous. He's nobody to me. Nancy was stubborn. Maybe I'm a stranger to you, too. Rubbing her reddened cheek, she asked, You wouldn't beat a native, and all because of that hunter. Well, kiss your favorite, of course. He's the best. You're wrong. Trying to pull himself together, my father said, If you think we love him more than you, we've never made any distinction between you. Remember, if we punished both of you, we praised you too. Remember how Hunter defended you if we were angry. He was willing to take punishment for you. Remember how he took the hit when a tree in the forest almost fell on you during a thunderstorm. He had his back to you. You little fool. You jealous little girl. You were at camp, don't you remember? He broke his arm then. He had to wear a cast for a month during the summer. Of course you forgot. Your empty head only remembers the wrongs, but not the good. I remember. Nancy's lips quivered. And you're still defending him now? I mean nothing to you. What are you talking about, silly? Her father put his arms around her, sat her down beside him on the couch, wiped away her tears. And remember, you were still small. Before Christmas we punished you and left you without sweets, and he gave you his present, and you sat under the table, eating candy, and thought we could not see anything. And after all that, you say he's not your own. How could you insult your brother? Yes, your parents are different, but sometimes strangers are much closer than family. If Hunter hadn't found that damned certificate, would it have occurred to you to question your parentage? You too couldn't be spilled with water. Mama, Papa. Nancy suddenly burst into tears. I'm such a fool. I've hurt Hunter. I'm selfish. He'll never forgive me. What have I done? He will. Susan took her daughter's hand. He will. We just have to find him first. Let's think together about where he might have gone. You know, the father asked, Which kids is he friends with the most? Classmates? Neighbors? You know his neighborhood better than we do. Think of names, phone numbers, places you've been. Yes. Now. Wiping away her tears, Nancy started calling her friends. Hello, Ethan. Do you have Hunter? I can't get through. My parents are worried. If you have any, tell them to call me right away. She hung up. I haven't seen her. Call someone else. Susan interrupted her. Nancy dialed number after number, but each time she flailed her arms helplessly. No one had seen him. She roared again. What do we do? He'll come back, won't he? Mom, Dad, tell me, will he come back? Will we find him? There's nothing to do at home, Samuel said. I suggest we go to the yards. Dad got up, started to get dressed. Maybe he's sitting on a bench somewhere now, hesitating to go home, resentment getting in the way. He doesn't know that Nancy's head is back on straight. What a mess you've made of things, daughter. Father shook his head reproachfully. I know. Like a straw, the mother grasped at the suggestion. Let's go look for him, ask around, see if any of the neighbors have seen him. He couldn't have disappeared without a trace. They went to all the nearest yards, but Hunter seemed to have vanished into thin air. Okay, Samuel was determined. Now it's late. It's pointless to go through the yards. It's unlikely to spend the night on a bench, probably hiding somewhere. Let's wait till morning. Maybe his son will show up. After all, he's a sensible man. And if he doesn't? Susan looked painfully at her husband. He had been wronged, and God only knows what was going on in his head. Nancy has told him so much. If he doesn't come back, we'll go to the police in the morning. It's useless to look for him ourselves. Let the professionals do it. They went home and went to their rooms. Mother woke up from every rustle. But Hunter did not appear, did not call, did not send a message. The night passed without sleep, waiting. It was our own fault, Susan said in the morning as she made breakfast. For some reason we left the documents in a prominent place. We should have destroyed them immediately. I asked you to. I've forgotten all about them. My father lamented. I never thought that someone would need to go through old papers. Well, now it's too late to sprinkle ashes on your head. Let's have breakfast and go to the police. What about me? Nancy asked, wrapped in a blanket and squinting her sleepy eyes. You stay home and wait for your brother. Keep your cell phone on you, and if he shows up, call him right away. You got it? Okay. Parents, I'm sorry. She said it guiltily. We're not the ones you need to apologize to. Susan and Samuel drove to the police station, her father driving silently, staring at the road. Nothing bad should happen to him, right? Susan asked suddenly. Of course not. He's an adult. He always weighs his every move. He thinks straight. He'll get by. They drove up to the police station. Our son is missing. The mother said, We've got a missing son. We want to file a report. How old is the child? Asked the officer on duty, without taking his head from filling out the log. 20. You what? The policeman immediately took his eyes off his notes. Are you kidding me? I don't understand you. Susan was taken aback by this strange reaction. The boy is an adult. The policeman grinned. Couldn't he go out with his friends or stay at a girl's house? Why are you panicking? We've got enough work to do without your great young man. Wait, he'll be back tonight. Maybe you shouldn't be so quick to file a report. Are you refusing to accept our application? Susan looked at him suspiciously. No. The desk clerk was embarrassed. Of course you write it, we'll take it. But what if you come back now and your son is already at home sleeping after a stormy night? What are you saying? The worried mother was indignant. Hunter would never do such a thing in his life. He doesn't drink at all and always warns me if he's going to be late. But this time he didn't. The young man remarked reasonably. He didn't. Susan agreed. But this is a special case. Please help us bring our son home. We've hurt him very much. He's proud. He'll never come back on his own. Don't worry, we'll find your boy. The officer on duty reread the statement, attached a photo. Stay at home. If he shows up on his own, let us know at once to call off the search. Parents rushed home. I wish I could. Susan spoke without blinking, staring at the road. I wish the children were home now. I wish that too. Samuel responded. We should think about where he could go. They went up to the apartment and opened the door, hoping to see their son. Didn't show up? The mother asked from the doorstep. Nancy shook her head negatively. Hunter's son. Susan went into the living room and sat down on the couch without undressing. Where are you? Mom? The daughter came to her mother, hugged her. Don't get upset. We'll get him off, you'll see. They sat together in the living room and waited for some news, but the phones were silent. Meanwhile, Hunter arrived at the bus station. Hello. I need a ticket to. He glanced at the tag and named the city. The woman behind the window looked at him curiously, asked for his passport, punched the receipt, and handed him the ticket. The bus is in 50 minutes, she informed him. The young man went into the station cafeteria, drank coffee, ate a couple of rolls, and wandered around the neighborhood. When he heard the boarding announcement, he got on the bus. Why? He thought to the peaceful whirring of the engine. Did my parents hide from me that I was not their own son? Why did they adopt me? And what will I say to my mother when I see her, and will I even be able to find her? What is she like? Maybe I should go back. Suddenly he thought. No. He said firmly to himself, I'm not going back. After what Nancy told me, I'll never go back. Turns out I didn't know her at all. How much resentment did she hold in her? He sighed sorrowfully. Soon fatigue and worry took their toll, and in a few minutes Hunter dozed off, sitting comfortably in his chair. Hey, boy! Hunter woke up to someone shaking him by the shoulder. Wake up, end of the line. The bus isn't going any farther. Get off, come on. Ah! The young man had barely recovered from his nap. Sorry, I'm getting off. He rubbed his face, finally throwing off the remnants of sleep, picked up his backpack, bag with laptop, and got off the bus. He looked back and walked down the street. Excuse me, he stopped a woman passing by. I'm looking for this man. He said his mother's name. Do you happen to know where she lives? Camille? I do, of course I do. She grinned, looking at the boy with interest. Everyone here knows her. Can you tell me how I can find her? And who are you? Never mind, just tell me where to find her. Go down this street. After 2 houses, turn right and go to the end. There's your Camille. Thank you. Hunter hurried toward the house where he thought his mother lived. Hey, boy, the woman called out to him. I'd think twice before making an acquaintance with someone like that if I were you. Hunter didn't answer anything, but walked to the given address. He was nervous for the upcoming meeting. The street was lined with well-built houses, and Hunter looked at them curiously. But the closer he got to the outskirts of the village, the slower his step became. The rich, well-kept houses were replaced by old, ramshackle huts, and Hunter stopped in front of one of them. Did someone really live here? The young man could not believe his eyes. A shriveled house among the tall and long ago not mown grass, the sun was reflected in the dirty, blinded windows. On a shabby plaque nailed to the corner of the house, one could hardly see the number of the house. There was no doubt that this was the house he was looking for. Hunter opened the gate. With a horse barking, a chained dog jumped out of the booth. A neatly dressed, unshaven man came out. What do you want? I'm looking for a stranger. Squinting into the sun, the man said, keeping his cigarette in his mouth. I'm looking for Camille Clark. I was told she lives here. Well, she does. But what do you want from her? She's my mom, Hunter said with one lip. The man dropped the cigarette from his mouth in surprise. Camille, come here. Your son is looking for you. A couple of minutes later, a short woman came out on the porch. She was dressed in a stretched sweater, which was constantly coming off her shoulders, exposing a white t-shirt that had once been washed, a soiled robe sticking out from under the sweater, which reached her knees, worn barefoot. Trampled slippers completed the picture. She, fixing her dirty, disheveled hair, looked at the stranger attentively and spoke in a faltering tongue. What are you doing, Bob? Have you eaten too much bleach? What son? I don't have one. She immediately shrieked and bent, having received a sensitive blow to the side from her roommate. Come on in, boy. Hunter, the man, smiled broadly. Your mother's sick. She's not thinking straight. And it's been a while. How old are you? 20, replied Hunter, walking into the house. She's been looking forward to seeing you, hasn't she, Camille? He squeezed his friend's elbow warningly. Yes, yes, agreed the woman, looking at her partner perplexed. Come and sit down, and we'll set the table with your mother. Bob dragged Camille into the kitchen. "You almost ruined everything." He hissed at her. "Can't you see that? The kid's well dressed, so he must be from a rich family." "Well, he's not my son. I've never had kids." "Who cares now, stupid? If you're his mother's full namesake, we can capitalize on that resemblance. You know what I mean, dummy head." "But how?" "First of all, make up a sob story about why you had to give him up. We need to do everything we can to keep him here." "Why?" "We don't have enough to eat, and we've got an extra mouth to feed. He's a big boy. He needs to be fed." "What a fool you are. He's gonna feed us, so he can help his mommy a little. Now pretend to be a loving and suffering mother, a victim of human injustice. Go to him and pretend you've dreamed all your life of finding him." Hunter gingerly sat down on the worn sofa and looked around the room. "How can anyone live here?" he thought. "Why is it so dirty? It's like our place." He thought involuntarily, and then he stopped himself. "There's no us. I'm on my own." "What's your name, child?" Camille appeared in the room. "Hunter." The young man went up to meet her. "Wow." The woman brushed away a tear. "I dreamed of naming my son Hunter, too. Apparently, God heard me and suggested this name to your foster parents." She walked over to the young man and took him into her arms. "Son, how happy am I to see you." She pulled away from him, scrutinizing him. "Tall, handsome, just the way I imagined you in my dreams. You have no idea how much I suffered for leaving you at the maternity hospital." "But why?" Hunter looked at her intently. "Why did you leave me?" "Let's sit down. There is no truth in your feet." She sank down on the sofa beside her guest, folding her hands mournfully in her lap. "I would never have given you up if it weren't for circumstances, son," she sobbed. "I had no money to support you." "Who was I?" "A young girl with no education, no steady job. Your father, when he found out I was pregnant, abandoned me. My parents conditioned me to leave the baby at the hospital or get the hell out. What could I do? I was almost as old as you are now. I'm sorry, son." She took his hands in hers and clung to them, hot tears streaming down her cheeks. Hunter felt them dripping down his arms. "I'm very guilty before you. I'll never begrudge you forgiveness." "Oh, come on, you. I understand different circumstances happen. I'm not angry with you. But now that you've found me, we'll never part again, will we?" She looked hopefully at the young man. "Yes, I'll stay with you, if I may." The woman hugged the boy. He wrinkled his nose, smelling the strong odor of booze and unwashed female body. He wistfully remembered the smell of his foster mother, always well-groomed, clean, and trim. "Thank you, dear, for not giving up on me, for finding me. Now I'm not afraid to die, my blood." "Dying? Why do you say that?" "I'm very sick." Camille sighed heavily. "What about you? Is there anything I can do to help? You see, there's no work here. We get by on odd jobs, and my health isn't what it used to be, and I'm old. The employer wants someone younger. We don't even have anything to buy you. So let me go to the store now," suggested Hunter, rising to his feet. "I have money." "My darling son." Camille hugged the boy again. "Thank you. We must celebrate your arrival. Bob?" She called her roommate, who had been in the kitchen all this time. "Take the boy to the store. Tell him what to buy for the table." By the time the men returned from the store, the woman had put the room in relative order. A mountain of unwashed dishes disappeared from the kitchen. The floor was washed. An old but clean bedspread appeared on the sofa. The table was shot with oilcloth. "Here we are," Bob announced happily, putting 2 full bags of sundries on the table. "Generous son of yours. "Come on, Mother, set the table. We'll celebrate his return to you. I've invited some friends of ours." Quietly, he said in the woman's ear, "Is there a place to wash?" Hunter asked hesitantly. "I'm sweaty and dusty from the road." Bob laughed. "We have a bathhouse, but we ran out of firewood last month, and we have no money to buy it. Tomorrow we'll agree with the neighbors. They'll heat the bathhouse. You'll wash yourself, and if you want, you can wash yourself with cold water, straight from the well. I'll bring a towel right away." Hunter, shivering from the cold, doused himself with water from the well, changed into a fresh t-shirt, and returned to the house. "Sit down, son," invited his mother. "Don't be sorry what God has sent. We serve." Hunter sat at the table, listened to the conversations of adults, and saw how his mother's mood gradually improved, warmed by vodka. "I see that you have fallen into a good family." She started talking. "Lucky then. Don't look at me like this. I used to be beautiful, not drinking. I had a hard life." She cried. "But when you drink, you feel better. And how I longed for you," she said, "thinking all the time how my son was doing, and my son lived a good life, and now I'm like this, sick through and through. No job, no health." If it hadn't been for Bob, she'd have waved her hand and drunkenly hiccuped. "I'd have died a long time ago. I can't work, and I need money for medicine, you know." "If you could live with your mom for a while," Bob suggested. "You could work, support her. We could get her health back on track." "All right, I can stay late. I'm on my university vacation right now." While they were talking, the guests arrived. "Here are our friends. Welcome to the new arrivals, Bob. This is Camille's son, here to visit." The man and woman said hello to Hunter, sat down at the table, and the conversation was immediately revitalized. "See." Looking proudly at Hunter, Camille boasted, "What a handsome son I have grown up. I wasn't so bad when I was his age, but now." She cried, knocked back a shot of vodka. "Alone, nobody needs me. All hope for my son." "You don't know." The young man looked around at the already pretty tipsy company. "Where can I get a temporary job here?" "If only at the market, as a loader," answered the guest. "There is always a shortage of people there." "I agree. When do I start?" "Come tomorrow. I'll set you up with the market owner. But the work is hard." He hummed, incredulous, looking at the puny boy. "Can you do it?" "I can handle it." "Shall I lie down?" Hunter asked his mother, not boldly. He didn't call her by her name and patronymic. It was awkward, and he couldn't pronounce the word mom. "Oh, what am I, dummy head?" Camille got excited. "Come on, I'll make you a bed. You're tired from the road." She took the young man to the farthest room, where there was nothing else but an old rickety wooden bed and a couple of chairs. The woman made up the bed and left Hunter alone. It took him a long time to fall asleep, reliving over and over the events of the day. Drunken voices came from the kitchen. Then one of the men picked up a guitar, and everyone sang. The young man covered his head so he wouldn't hear the noise and soon fell asleep. "Hunter?" The boy woke up to the hoarse voice of the woman he thought was his mother. "It's time for you to go to work, Bob. Hurry up so you can have breakfast." Hunter quickly washed his face, ate the remains of last night's feast, and went with the man to get a job. "Here's your job." A sturdy man in his old age pointed at the crates of fruit. "Now the car will come. The forwarder will say what you need to load. The salary will depend on your diligence." The young man worked all day, taking only small breaks. His master praised him. "Well done. I'm pleased with you," he said to the boy in the evening, counting out the bills. "Here, you've earned it." Only Hunter went outside from the market gate when Bob ran up to him. "Hi. Sniffing his nose and occasionally looking around, said the man. "So, how was your first day?" "Fine," Hunter replied. "I'm a little tired. Now it would be good to have a snack, because I haven't eaten anything since morning." "Yeah. Put your arm around his shoulders and said Bob, "I'll be right there. Mom's setting the table." Just then, he looked away again. "Let's go to the store. It's supposed to be paid from the first paycheck," he assured, noticing the young man's perplexed look. "And your mom's head hurts after yesterday. It needs to be fixed. Do you understand? You're a caring son, aren't you? You and I are going to go to the store." The man insistently pulled Hunter toward the store. "We'll buy what we need, and then we'll go home." At home, the company from yesterday was waiting for them. "Oh!" They greeted Hunter with shouts of joy. "Our breadwinner is here. The first paycheck should be properly celebrated," Bob announced, putting a bag full of vodka and snacks on the table. "Well?" impatiently asked his mother. "Show me how much you've earned." She looked greedily at the bills that the young man took out of his jacket pocket. "You'll share it with your mother, right?" "Sure." The boy handed her almost all the money, leaving a small amount for himself. "Here, thanks, of course, why you need money and me," she wept. "I just need to buy some medicine." And again the house was noisy until midnight, until the hosts and guests fell asleep wherever they could, exhausted from drinking and eating. The next day, everything was repeated. Hunter was silent, did not make a remark to his mother, did not try to chase the guests away. He went to work every day, and the company successfully drank and ate his earnings. The young man lost count of the days. More and more often, he was overtaken by memories of that family, but he chased the thoughts away from himself, not allowing himself to regret for a moment the decision to leave home. "Hunter, son," his mother called out to him one evening. He had just fallen into a peaceful sleep, giving rest to his body, tired from physical work. "Get up. Some people are asking for you." "What people?" Reluctantly wiping his sleepy eyes and getting out from under the warm blanket, Hunter asked. "Do I know? Go see for yourself." Camille took a firm step toward the hallway. "Why are you here?" Hunter asked rudely, seeing his foster parents in the hallway. "Hunter." Susan's lips quivered when she saw her son, gaunt, in a laundered t-shirt, with long unwashed hair, barefoot. He was a pitiful sight. "We need to talk. Why don't we go outside?" "Let's talk quietly, without witnesses." "Son?" Camille came out of the kitchen. "Are you all right? Who are these people? What do they want from you?" "I'm fine," answered the young man, and went out of the door and into the street. "You came for nothing," he said firmly. "I'll stay here. At least until classes start at the university." "Son." Susan looked at him pleadingly. "I'm not your son." He cut her off abruptly. "You tricked me." "Hunter, you're wrong." The father walked over to his son and took him by the shoulders. "Look me in the eye. We had no intention of deceiving you. We just didn't find the right time to tell you everything, but we're not guilty of anything. There's nothing more to tell. Don't worry about it. I found my real mom, and I'm gonna stay with her and take care of her. You don't like the way she is. What can you do? You can't choose your parents. She needs me. It's my duty to stay by her side." "Hunter." Stammering, Susan said in horror. "Hey, boy." Bob came out on the porch, already pretty drunk. "You need help. Are they trying to take you away? Don't give in. You get the hell out of our house. This is private property." "Hunter." The woman closed her eyes for a moment to endure the drunken man's lunge. "You're wrong to think this woman is your mother. Your mother died as soon as you were born, I know that for a fact. And if by blood I'm not really your mother, then you could call me a milk mother. I'm the one who breastfed you, and she's an imposter." "No way!" The young man turned cold, but everything coincided, even the village. "She is just a full namesake of your mother, took advantage of the situation, fooled your head, convinced you that you are her son. We asked the neighbors. She's a long-time deep drinker. Your mom was a very nice woman. You're just like her." "What does that make it?" Hunter asked, shifting his gaze from Susan to Samuel. "Were they using me?" "Unfortunately, it turns out that they did. But why?" "Son," Camille's head came out of the door again. "We're waiting for you, darling." "Is that true?" The young man was at the woman's side in 2 leaps. "Is what true?" "I don't understand. What are you talking about now?" Camille was stunned. "Is it true that you're not my mom? Did they tell you that?" She nodded at the foster parents. "You won't be able to lean on them." Susan remarked, "I knew his mother. And if I did?" Camille arched her back and looked at Susan with contempt. "That I don't have the right to live like a white man for a while?" She sobbed. "I want someone to take care of me too. At least someone but Hunter." She patted the young man's cheek. He recoiled sharply from her. He did it so touchingly. I loved being in the role of his mom. I am a very lonely person and need simple motherly happiness. Am I to be despised for that? Well, have you deceived me?" Hunter boiled. "Just a little bit. Bob made it all up? Yes. And I felt like a mother this month because I have no one." Tears showed in his drunken eyes. "We lived almost like a real family." That's mean. What do you know about mean?" She swayed. Hunter supported her. "I'm a miserable person, and even this month I loved you in my own way." You're a manipulator." Through Hunter. "How could you take such a sneaky advantage of my trust?" "My goodness, how gentle we are." Camille snorted. "Hunter, shall we go home?" Susan looked at her son pleadingly. "Why do you need me?" "You have your own daughter, and you don't need me. I'm just a nuisance." "That's right." Camille clapped her hands. "Don't go with them. Stay with us. You're a stranger to them anyway. So what difference does it make where you live? We have fun here." "Don't listen to her, son." Susan didn't know what other arguments to make to convince him to go with them. "You've always been and will always be family to us. Daddy and I love you very much, and I love you very much too," finally confessed the young man. "Forgive me, I thought I was an extra in the family. Thank you for everything. If it weren't for you, I don't know what would have happened to me. I'm ashamed that I ran away from home without listening to you." Susan opened her arms. Hunter rushed to his mother. "We've been worried sick about you. Nancy's been worried sick about you." Kissing and hugging her son, the woman said. Samuel hugged them, and the 3 of them stood there until Susan realized what was going on. "What are we waiting for?" "Pack up, son. Let's go home. We don't have to stay here." Hunter quickly packed his things and got into the car. "Hey, boy," Bob shouted after him. "If you decide to run away from home again, know that you're welcome here." It was good to have all the misunderstandings behind him. Susan said, holding her son close to her, "We are together again." Nancy ran out into the hallway as soon as the front door slammed. "Hunter." She threw her arms around her brother's neck. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me the other day. I take it all back. You can hit me, but I'm sorry." "Okay, forget it." Hugging her, the young man said, "No, you say you forgive me." "I really miss you, I really do. I'm insanely ashamed of what I said. You are the best brother ever. I really wanted you to come back. Tell me you've forgiven me." I won't let you go until you do. I'm not angry with you. Hunter replied with restraint. Forget everything I said to you. I'm very happy to have such a brother. I don't know what bug bit me then. Nancy held her brother's hands and looked guiltily into his eyes. I've been so bad without you. There hasn't been a day this whole month that I haven't thought about you, scolded myself for my long tongue. And I missed you too, my parents. I'm disgusted at how I've lived all this time. I can't believe it's only been a month. It feels like a year. Guys, their parents hugged each other and looked at them with emotion. How great it is that we are all together again. Let's not remember the bad things. Suddenly the doorbell rang. Strange, who could it be? Opening the door, Samuel asked. I hope it's not your so-called mom chasing after you. Everyone laughed, waiting to see who they would see when the door opened. Good afternoon. A stubby, middle-aged man in a dark suit stood on the doorstep. I'm looking for Hunter. He gave the young man's full name. It's me. Hunter answered confused. And who are you? I don't know you. My name is William. I'm a notary and a trustee of your grandfather, Christian. What grandfather? There must be some mistake. Hunter looked back at his parents in confusion. I don't have a grandfather by that name. Dear William, Hunter was stopped by his mother. Let's go into the living room. Well, are we keeping the man in the hallway? Everyone followed Susan into the room. William? The woman spoke again. You said Hunter had a grandfather. Is that correct? No mistake. Christian, Hunter's paternal grandfather. He asked me to look for his grandson, which I did. I was also instructed to inform you. He addressed Hunter. That the will gives you a 2-room apartment in the elite district of the city, I think it's a sin to refuse such an inheritance. Yes, this is the first I've heard of this grandfather. And yet, the man was persistent. It's true. He lived alone for years, looking for you everywhere. It was only just before he died that he managed to track down his own grandson. Unfortunately, circumstances prevented him from doing so earlier. The search took too long. The boy grinned. And where is the grandfather himself? It would be nice to have a look at him and make sure it's not a joke, because I've already found one false mother. I don't want to be disappointed again. You won't be able to do that, because Christian died recently before the most important moment in his life, meeting his grandson. Believe me, he would have tracked you down long ago, even hired a private detective for this purpose, but there was too little information about you and your mother. He didn't immediately recognize that he had a grandchild. Moreover, even in the maternity hospital, your traces were lost, and then all sorts of bureaucratic obstacles prevented a quick search for you. Sad, of course, coldly remarked the young man, but I don't need anything from a complete stranger. I have people whom I consider my family, and him I have never seen in my life. Let it all stay that way. I do not need anything from him. Son, his mother stopped him. Listen to the man, please. We don't know why your grandfather didn't have a chance to contact you before. Surely there must be a reasonable explanation for this. Don't mind him, Mr. Notary. He's a little upset. We are ready to listen to you further. I have come to fulfill Christian's last will and testament. The man looked at Susan with gratitude for the support, and to give you a letter from him. He held out a sealed envelope to Hunter. I'm glad that, at least now, my client's soul is at rest, and this is the address where you must come to inherit the estate. Do not delay with it. In 6 months we will formalize your inheritance, but already now you can use the apartment. So I'll be expecting you soon. The keys to the apartment are kept with me. And now let me digress. He bowed his head ceremoniously and left, leaving the whole family at a loss. What are you frozen? Nancy came out of her reverie for the first time. "Hurry up and get to the table. I've made a lot of food waiting for you. Let's celebrate Hunter's return, leave the serious stuff for tomorrow." "Really?" Mother's cheerful. "It's been so long since we've been together. So much has happened lately, it's been overwhelming." "Hunter?" The father put his hand on his son's shoulder. "Maybe you should be alone. Read your letter. We'll understand. We won't take offense." "No." The young man shook his head, as if shaking off heavy thoughts. "I'll read it later. I want to try Nancy's food first. I hope she's not planning to poison me." "Oh, you." The girl took a joking swing at her brother. "I tried my best, and you're laughing at me again." "At last we can hear our son again," smiled the father. "Children don't be naughty, as their mothers stop them as children. Indeed, it's time to go to the table. I have much to tell you," said Hunter, when the first cheer of his return had passed. "That's good." Susan rejoiced. "I want to hear how you've been living all this time, how you came across this same false mom. If you could see," she turned to her daughter, "what a shack your brother had to live in. I am deeply ashamed." Nancy was blushing to the roots of her hair. "That I attacked you, Hunter. When I realized what I'd done, I was ready to fall through the ground. I really wanted you back. I mean, we've got the whole place on edge. Right, parents? We even got the police involved. Without them, we never would have known where to find you. Don't apologize." The young man smiled. "I'm also good. Instead of waiting for you, Dad, Mom, and talk, I ran away from home, got angry like a girl, and I'm a grown man, could not curb emotions. It's unforgivable in me." He waved his hand guiltily. "The most important thing is that we are together again." Susan looked fondly at the children, her husband. It was good that everything ended safely. Everyone had learned a life lesson. Now everyone knew everything. There should be no hard feelings. They sat up past midnight, talking, laughing, remembering stories from their childhood. "We're sitting up too late," Mother realized. "It's time," agreed Father. "I'm tired from the road." Soon everyone went to their rooms, and Hunter was alone. He went to the window and stood looking at the distant, dark sky for a long time. Finally, he resolutely grabbed the envelope, opened it, and began to read. "Dear grandson," Christian wrote, "if you are reading this letter, it means that I am no longer alive, and I will never be able to see you. I won't recognize you as you have become. I won't be able to look you openly in the eyes, to justify myself to you for your son, your father, and for myself, to ask for forgiveness. I won't be able to tell you that I've thought of you every minute. Yes, grandson, my heart is full of unspent love and tenderness. How I long to hold you against my chest, to tell you that I persisted in searching and hoping to meet you for all 20 years. Believe me, I would have given everything just to see you, at least once, and then I would not be afraid to accept death. Where were you, grandfather?" Hunter swallowed the lump stuck in his throat. Then the news that I was living in a foster home wouldn't have been so shocking to me. I wouldn't have developed a persistent sense of loneliness. He took a deep breath, regaining his composure, and continued reading again. "I'm sure you would have understood me, but I guess it was God's will to punish me severely for failing to raise my son properly. He left your mother when he found out she was pregnant. He ran away like a coward, afraid of responsibility, and when he admitted that your mother had a son by him, I immediately rushed to look for her. But it was too late. She died in childbirth, and you were immediately adopted. Nobody wanted to tell me the last name of these people, covering themselves with the secrecy of adoption. I had to stop looking because my son fell into bad company and needed constant supervision. I did not teach him responsibility, did not instill in him an aversion to bad habits, did not immediately realize that except for himself, he loves no one else. He got addicted to drugs and burned out in a couple years. My wife, your grandmother, couldn't bear the grief and left after her son. I was ready to go after them, but the thought of you kept me going. Can't you imagine, grandson, what torture it was? To be alone with bitter guilt. If my son hadn't left Camille, she'd still be alive. I hired a private detective, but he didn't get on your trail right away. The golden time was irretrievably lost. Unfortunately, worries over the death of my wife and son, despair at not being able to find you, undermined my health. I know that I don't have long to live. That's why I'm writing this letter, to have time to say everything I wanted to say. Now that you know the truth about our family, maybe you will find a drop of sympathy in your heart, and someday you will forgive all of us for making you suffer. I pray to God that you will find in your new family the happiness that my foolish son has deprived you of. To help you in any way I can, I'm leaving you a small inheritance. My notary will take care of the arrangements. I hope you won't refuse to accept this gift. That's it, dear grandson. My heart acts for you every day. Farewell without a trace. I believe you will be happier than we are. Hunter tore himself away from the letter. For a long time he sat staring at one point, then he crumpled up the sheet of paper, threw himself on the bed and cried. He heard the door creak. He was inexpressibly ashamed of his weakness, but he could not stop. Tears were pouring from his eyes. Sonny! Susan crouched down beside him on the bed, stroked his head. I'm so sorry you didn't get to meet your grandfather. But if he sent this letter, he loved you. Gradually the sobs dampened. Hunter, wiping his tears, sat down next to his mother. There was no one left of them. Still sobbing, he said. They're all dead, you see. I'm the only one left. The door to the room creaked open again, and Nancy appeared. You are not alone, for you have us, she said. And we love you very much. She hugged her brother, tears welling up in her eyes from the tenderness overflowing her soul. I know. Hunter smiled. I love you all very much, too. Her daughter was followed into the room by her father. But are you going to shed tears here? Hunter, it turns out, is a very desirable groom. He smiled. Now that you have your own apartment, I hope you don't want to move out immediately. We wouldn't like that very much. All three of them looked at the boy expectantly. No. Hunter smiled, looking at them warmly. You are my closest people, my real family, and I don't need another.